Hello, welcome to my channel again. As you can see, still fall. Today I'm going to be doing a review on Victoria Aveyard's The Red Queen. This is the collector's edition. Really cool. So the pages are kind of red here, but they're not red on the inside, don't worry. It also has pretty cool vector illustrations that were added. Not like super pretty or anything, but a nice addition. I really appreciate it because I don't really see illustrations in books anymore, unless it's like a very old book or like a children's book. Then, you have illustrations. So I am aware that I'm like late in this review of The Red Queen. It has been published in 2015, which is like a while ago, and only now I'm reading this towards the end of 2017. The reason being is that I just was not impressed with what this book is about, and when I heard like YouTubers, booktubers better say, talking about this book, it seems like a lot of people actually hated it. So I was wary. I'm not like a mega fan, and I don't really want to waste my time reading something that I might hate. But I got this book for free, and it's so pretty, Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And I've decided to read it, and I'm gonna give it, quite honestly, 3 out of 5. The reason why I'm giving it 3 out of 5, if not like 4 out of 5, is because, as enjoyable as it was, this is not something I have not read before. You have the Grisha trilogy, which is similar to this. You have the Hunger Games. You have Game of Thrones, which feels like a lot of this book is based on, kind of. You also have, I'm sure there's like a ton of books out there that have been written way earlier than this one that you can pick up, and they probably will be better than this one, unfortunately. But still, it's a very enjoyable, fun novel to read. Like, it's, originally it was a trilogy, but I've heard that Victoria Aveyard is releasing another book, sort of another installment. I don't think I'm gonna pick them up, quite honestly. I didn't enjoy this one as much. I found the protagonist kind of irritating at times, even though her intentions were good. I found the world undeveloped, or underdeveloped, perhaps is the better word to say. I found a lot of things lacking. But it was still fun, so I don't want to roast this book too much. Like, I know it's hard to write a book. I know it's even harder to write a book that people will actually love. So if you are thinking about reading this book, I'm not gonna, you don't have to stick around because I will have some spoilers in my review. Just know that I'm giving this 3 out of 5. It's fun. If you're the kind of person who likes fantasy novels, if Game of Thrones is something you might like, or something you like, then this book is definitely for you. It's quite fun. It has people with special abilities. It has court intrigue. It has romance. It has, a lot of fighting scenes. Pretty cool overall. Yeah, but if you do want to stick around and listen to me talk about this book and why I didn't really like it that much, yeah, you're welcome. So that will start in. So, yeah, I'm aware that I did it the other way, usually, yeah, whatever. So I made a list, as I do with all of my other books, and the list kind of is a list of things that I did not like about The Red Queen. So, Mare Barrow, better say, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Mare. Anyhow, she inhabits this world that it's divided by blood. So there are the reds and there are the silvers. So reds are people who have red blood. They have no special abilities. They kind of exist to serve the silvers. Silvers are people who are kind of like, you can compare them to the 1% in our terms, in a way. Only that they have special powers. They are the rulers. They have special powers. They can control the elements. Some of them can read minds. Some of them can hypnotize. Some are stronger than others, so there's definitely a hierarchy in that world as well. There are the royals, there's a king, and he has 2 sons. And they kind of like make the lives of the Reds really miserable. If Reds step out of line, they will be executed or sent to like work camps, I guess. A lot of people who don't have jobs among the Reds are conscripted at the age of 18, I believe. They are sent to the army, where they fight another Silver Kingdom, and they will most probably die or become kind of like disabled or handicapped in some way. So it's not really a fun world to inhabit. Mara's a thief. She doesn't have any special skills other than the fact that she's fast and she's good at stealing stuff. She lives in this very impoverished village, and by chance she meets a prince, only that she's not aware that he's a prince. And he, for some reason, feels for her, I don't know why, and he arranges her a job in the palace, and she becomes a servant. And under weird circumstances, she's discovered to have special powers that are lightning, and she is red by blood, but she has the abilities of a silver. So she's like a bit of a mutant in that sense, and instead of executing her, the king and the queen sort of decide to groom her and pass her as a daughter of a deceased silver general, and sort of keep an eye on her, try and study her abilities. Although I haven't really seen throughout the book that neither the queen nor the king really try and understand / study her abilities. They don't seem to care that much. They don't really interact with her at all, almost. So in the palace, Mar goes through all these transformations, and she is engaged to be married to the younger prince called Maven. Maven? Maven is kind of like a douchebag, only that he's very, very good at hiding it. He kind of uses Mar to eventually kill his dad and become king. Yeah, like, I actually kind of saw it coming in a way. And the reason, like, sort of why here's the thing about the Red Queen that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Mar is a Red. She grew up in the slums. You know, she's not a well-bred, well-educated person. She left school at a young age. Obviously, she had to support her family. Whatever, education is not her priority. It's understandable. At the same time, she is an apt student. She learns quite quickly. She's an intelligent person. You can, see that. But at the same time, she makes so many brash, impulsive decisions. She focuses on things that she's too, irrational, and she's too emotional, which comes in contrast with how well she acts in public and pretends to be silver. And there are so many red flags throughout the plot that I'm like, this makes me suspicious. Why doesn't that make you suspicious? Especially when a lot of people, some people around you keep telling you, don't trust these people. Don't trust the queen. Don't trust her son. And you're just like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to you. Because I'm too angry, and I'm too self-righteous. So this is sort of the thing that keeps going on in the book. When Mar is not angry at the Silvers and wants to basically decapitate each and every one of them, she's full of self-loathing and self-hatred. This is sort of this is the repeated pattern in this book. She does dumb shit, and then she feels bad about it, and then she does some more dumb shit, and then she feels even more bad about it. So it seems like she never really learns anything from her behavior. I am aware that she's 17 years old and she's very young. When you're 17, it's really hard to be totally, self-aware and introspective and whatever. But with Mar, it's just irritating because on one hand, we're supposed to believe that she's such a great actress and she's so calculating and in a way even manipulative. And she says that she's using people to sort of, get what she wants, which I haven't really seen in that book that much, to be honest. And at the same time, she just keeps acting in such a dumb way. She puts a lot of people in danger. She's aware that she puts a lot of people in danger. She doesn't seem to care. And the thing is that, okay, if she was just making dumb decisions, it would have been kind of less irritating, I guess. If you're just like, oh well, shit happens. But she keeps transgressing, and then she's like, I'm so sorry, I hate myself, I'm an awful person. And then she does, she basically repeats the same pattern over and over again, and she keeps blaming herself. And I'm like, either you get a brain, no offense, or you stop hating yourself, because it's like you don't really mean what you're saying anymore. It just seems like you're just want to feel bad, but you don't really feel bad, and you don't really have sympathy for anyone or anything. So that was something that I found really weird. It's like, decide, are you a homicidal maniac, or are you like an introspective, sensitive person? Like, you cannot be both. That's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Another thing that I found really irritating, and this is something that happens in a lot of YA novels, I am aware, but there's this weird love triangle. It's not even a love triangle, it's like a square, because you have Mars' friend from back home, you have her betrothed, you have like Maven, who's kind of like has feelings for her for some reason, you have Cal, who supposedly is head over heels with her the minute he meets her. And I'm like, in what world does that make any sense? We're supposed to believe that Cal is willing to do almost anything for Mar. Why? Like, seriously, do you also like meet people randomly on the street, give them a job, and then fall in love with them, uncontrollably? Seriously? Like, unless Cal is some sort of a psycho, which I don't think he is, it just doesn't make sense. They hardly spend time together. And yeah, sure, like, he's hot, so I understand why, like, Mara is kind of like eyeballing him from time to time. But like, having this romance blossoming between them when they hardly interact, that's just, I mean, I understand if it's like a lusty thing, but saying that he will supposedly choose her over the kingdom, or choose her over his father, I'm sorry, he probably will choose her over her father if that was the case. But the fact that Mar even believes it, it's so dumb. I would expect someone with her life experience to be way more suspicious of people, but that doesn't happen. That like flies out the window. She has like zero self-preservation abilities, it seems at times. And often, when you think that she's about to die, or about to be discovered in her affiliations with the rebel force, a Deus Ex Machina element pops up. So a Deus Ex Machina thing was used in ancient Greece in theater, where the protagonist was caught in an impossible situation, like they were about to die or something awful happened, and there's basically nothing they can do. And a god, descends from the clouds. Well, actually it was like a mechanism that, like a pulley kind of thing, and they would perform some sort of a miracle, and tada, the protagonist is okay again. So this is what's happening throughout this novel. A lot of chapters have Deus Ex Machina. You think Mar's about to die, we discover she has superpowers. Okay, that's fine. You think that Mar's about to be discovered as a spy, like someone's gonna like rat her out, that person takes a suicide pill. She's fine again. You think that her brother is dead? He's not dead. He's actually alive, and he too has special powers, and he saves her. You think that all the rebels have been assassinated. They are okay, and they are alive, and they come in just in the nick of time to save her and whisk her away. Like, honestly, you can't have a book full of Deus Ex Machina elements. It's irritating. It's not supposed to be used over and over again. You can use it once, maybe twice, but not every single time that like there's like almost a cliffhanger when you're like on the edge of your seat and a Deus Ex Machina device is being used. Like, don't do it. It's just like sloppy writing or overly dramatic writing. I don't even know what to call it, but it's very irritating. Like, don't give your readers a little bit more credit than that. Like, honestly, I do understand you want to create a gripping plot and you do want people to be worried about Mar and sort of her fate, but don't use the Deus Ex Machina device over and over again. And here's another thing that I really didn't like about this novel. I'm supposed to be afraid of the Silvers, and I'm supposed to be sympathetic towards the Reds, and I'm supposed to be sympathetic towards Mar. Unfortunately, the Silvers were just... they didn't inspire any fear in me whatsoever. The Reds, I was sympathetic towards them, not because of the way their lives were described, but because it resonates with a lot of countries, a lot of like sort of third world, like developing world countries, the way people live there. And it's awful and it's atrocious. And I can sympathize with that, but only because you see it on the news, so it resonates with real life. But what Victoria Aveyard does is that instead of showing us, she's telling us. So we're supposed to think that the Reds are miserable and downtrodden and we should help them. We kind of like supposed to hate the Silvers and we're supposed to fear them because they have all these abilities. But Count Olaf in the series of unfortunate events inspired more fear in me than the Silvers, and he was like human. He had no abilities other than being like a shitty actor. So like, honestly, like, why am I supposed to be afraid of these people? And more often than not, they're described as cowards. Like, the minute something goes not according to plan, or, someone dies, someone is assassinated, they get so freaked out, they get so scared. I'm like, how do these people even come to power if they're freaked out so easily? Like, honestly, like, all it takes is, like, a gunshot, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, ah. So, like, seriously, it does not make a lot of sense. Like, if you want to create these intimidating villains that should be taken down one by one, you probably should, like, describe them a little bit better, make them a little bit more intimidating than they are. Like, maybe instead of dedicating so many pages to Mar's self-loathing, loathing everyone else, being mad, being guilty, or constantly calling everyone a monster. She keeps saying he's a monster. Like, honestly, just, I am aware that writing a book is hard. I know that writing a good book is even harder. But if it was already published, like, I think a little bit more thought could have been put into this. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels this way. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not a bad book. It was enjoyable. It is action-packed. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's not moments where you're just like, oh my god, like, make this end. At least not for me. I thought it was a pretty good read. Enjoyable, definitely, like, pretty awesome. Especially if you love, like, court intrigue kind of thing. Like, and even if Mar, like, is kind of stupid sometimes, like, I can let it slide. It doesn't make me, like, hate the novel. I'm not gonna probably continue reading the rest of them. I'm not that intrigued to know what happens. There's probably gonna be, like, some more, oh my gosh, Deus Ex Machina elements in it. Probably. Also, Mar discovers that she's not the only one who has special powers. Oh my god, let's make a school like an X-Men, let's assemble them and make an academy or whatever. So at the end of the novel, she kind of like goes and is supposed to find all these people and create an army with them, I guess, and like save them from the Silvers, because her ex-fiance, who also like has feelings for her all of a sudden, supposedly, and who's like a major baddie, also wants to hunt these people down. So I'm guessing things are gonna get very like emotional at some point in this novel. So yeah, this was my Red Queen review. Enjoyable, not bad, not the worst I've read. Definitely interesting. Kind of different from what I'm usually reading, or better say, it's kind of like a watered down Game of Thrones thing. I'm sorry that I keep comparing this to Game of Thrones. I don't watch a lot of epic fantasy kind of things, so I don't have that many things to compare it to. But it was quite fun, quite interesting. I recommend it if you love fantasy, there's like no dragons in it or anything, but it's an interesting take on kind of dystopia. I don't know, because there is like, it's not as if it happens in like, you know, medieval times. It's a weird mishmash of our days and like medieval times, because you have electricity and you have all these technological devices, but at the same time a motorcycle is a novelty. So it's an interesting kind of world. It's like a combination of different periods, it feels. So yeah, that's my Red Queen. Thoughts on the Red Queen. Thank you for sticking around. If you have read this and or want to read it, or if you agree or disagree, feel welcome to sort of comment below or whatever. And yeah, have an awesome day. Bye!